Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's review is for the Archer Components Dx1 trail automatic shifter, or electronic shifter should we say. This was purchased here in the UK with my cold hard earned cash. It doesn't come anywhere close to the price bracket of the likes of the SRAM and Shimano components that are available out there on the market. What I will say is this thing is amazing. Like, the adjustability in the app is so easy to fine tune your gears, and everything's silky smooth, and I would even go as far to say that it for sure feels like it's improving the performance of my vapour running the Bafang Ultra. With this little device, it was leading to a couple of problematic things for installation with my particular frame. Something you might come across is the shape of your chainstay. Okay, so what we had to do here is part of one of the little eyelets for thread and cable through had to be grinded away to get it nice and flush up against there. Big shout out to David over at proebike Wishaw Scotland. If you're thinking about buying a vapour, definitely hit him up and get one of these bad boys built by him. 10 out of 10 customer service, and just will always go out his way to help you out. What happened when I was over at the workshop for a visit is that the motor had to be dropped out, and that was quite a decently sized big job. But no job is too big or too small for David, so yeah, I'm going to drop his website in the description, and if you want to have a look at his bikes, hit him up. You can even convert an existing bike for you using one of the Bafang series motors. What he did for me is he installed a longer gear shift sensor. We've wrapped in a little bit of inner tube just to stop it pulling any crap into the system. As you can see, everything here is rather dirty on my bike. No matter how hard I try and keep that clean, just all this road grime and crap from daily commuting, it's just getting sucked into that. But that's been fitted, and then we have the soft touch buttons on the remote up at the handlebar side. Batteries are relatively quick to charge. I got next day special delivery free, courtesy of the company I bought this from in the UK. I have got a couple of suggestions for Archer, if they're watching this video, for some improvements in the future. Yeah, the fasteners seem pretty sturdy, but I've put a zip tie in here just for extra peace of mind. Maybe a couple of spares for those possibly in the packaging would be nice. One of the biggest things for me is this battery compartment here, which even on our generation 1, and this is generation 2, is going to be a right nightmare to get into. The batteries don't pop out or release, so when you open this up and take the cap off, you're going to be faced with either removing the shifter to tip it out to empty the batteries out, trying to tip a 40 kilo bike up on its front wheel to empty them out. But what I've done is I've actually purchased one of those little magnetic rod things you use if you drop a screw or such, that I'm hopefully be able to get in here just enough to magnetise the battery to pop it out from the compartment. There's 2 batteries in here, 1 in here. You can check the battery level via the app, or the light on the shifter will blink either green or red, or stay steady in one of those colours to indicate roughly what percentage it is. One of the amazing features of this in the app is that you can set a get me home gear, so when the battery's running low, it will automatically shift for you into the gear that you've pre-selected for essentially getting you home. It's worth noting that doesn't work if you select low power mode, okay, so only in standard mode. The other feature in the app that I really love is you can do different steps on the gears, so you can do 3 up and 2 down, or 3 down 2 up, just by holding the buttons in up here for your predetermined length of time. Again, it's adjustable via the app. So yeah, the negative about the shifter itself is going to be that battery compartment, getting the batteries in and out. A trap door on the bottom would have been nice to open, that you could get the batteries in and out easily. However, I'm guessing they've taken into consideration all those sort of elements you're going to come up against when you're out on the trails. You'll see the light blinking away here, but in daylight it is still quite hard to see. Leaning over the bike, it's hard to see and when you're pushing this button, because it's so close to this button, if you're using your thumb, you're essentially covering it, or if you're leaning over the bike, even using your index finger. So sometimes I can't, and I did switch this off and it's telling me it's on, so I need to, and as you'll see demonstrated here, I can't see if it's turned off in there. It's turned off now. Okay, so your thumb's essentially covering that, or your finger. So it would have been nice if that was spaced out a little bit more, or even better still, if they were able to put some kind of light indicator on the top end of the shifter, so when you're looking down, when you're leaning over the bike, you can see whether it's on or off a little bit more easy. Up here on this, as you can see, that's it just detected that there's no signal to the shifter, so this shuts down pretty quickly, and that's amazing for conserving battery. For the both of them, I would probably go with the recommendation of charging both equally at the same time. That way you're always keeping things in sync. I've tried the micro adjuster button in here, and depending on your cockpit setup, you may struggle to get your finger in there. I did struggle, not only just to get my finger in here, obviously during my setup, but it's a super hard, firm button to press. So much so that I actually was questioning whether it was actually a button or just a bit of plastic I was pressing on. Eventually I activated, done the micro adjustments I needed to do while riding the bike. Phenomenal, it worked, it did its job. I would like to see a 30-second delay on that, because within 15 seconds it kicks out that back into normal functioning. So by the time I looked down here to make sure that it didn't jump and miss a gear or whatnot, and then look back up here, it had basically kicked back in normal, and I had to go through this whole process of trying to get that button pressed again. So if that button was maybe even under the shifter where you could press it in with your thumb, then you could keep the same firmness, but using your thumb would be probably better, or even just maybe making it a toggle switch on the side or something, and then when you're done you can toggle out of it. A little LCD of some fashion up here would be lovely. I know they've not included that, probably due to the fact these are hand built and to keep the costs low for us consumers, but a little LED of some fashion just to give you an idea of what gear you're shifting in and out of would be amazing, because just now you're doing it by feel and by touch, and obviously counting. I've got a 10-speed cassette, so if I know I'm in gear 1 or gear 10, then I've got to kind of count it out in my head, but you lose track of that very quickly. But overall, it's a worthwhile purchase, definitely a performance upgrade I feel on the Vapour, and if you've got an e-bike or any bike, I would say it's a performance upgrade, especially if you're having to run cables internally. You can do away with that internal mechanical cable and go with the electronic shifter, and you've just got the cable coming out here into any derailleur you have. And with the case of my bike, we've got it going via the bafang gear shift sensor, just to keep that drive chain preserved as long as we possibly can with the power that this thing can put out. Not much else more I can say about it, to be honest with you. It was recommended to me by a couple of guys on the bafang group. The very next day I purchased one and got it fitted, and I've been riding it a week now, and I'm rather pleased with it. Battery life's meant to be pretty decent, so I'm roughly gauging maybe 8 weeks, if not before. I'll be looking to charge those up, and they charge relatively quick, like something like within 2 hours. The 2 batteries in there and the battery in here, yeah, I'd probably say a total of 3 hours, because the other negative in the package is you get the charger that only takes 2 batteries at a time, so you can only charge the 2 shifters up and then have to do the remote separate. The other thing I found with the remote as well is there's 2 of the world's smallest, tiniest screws on the back of it that you'll see here that you have to remove to be able to get that battery out. You're included 2 spares, I think, within the packaging. I say I think because it didn't really tell me if there were spares or what, but I'm assuming they are, because those, if you drop them, they're lost. If they could have done like a remote style, like your television remote, where it's just a little clip there or something to open up and slide the backing off and slide it back on to get that battery, that would simplify things, because I'm unsure where I'm going to actually have to take this remote off to be able to get the battery in and out, and well, time will tell how long it will be before I lose these screws and before I lose the spares, you know. But yeah, if you're thinking about getting one of these, definitely snap it up. It's a worthwhile purchase. an Archer, if you fancy sending us a new one in the future, an upgrade to review for you, I'd be more than happy to do that in the UK here for you. A little sneak preview of an accessory I've added to the bike, which will be in the upcoming next video, and if you want to see that, you're going to have to like and subscribe. Well, that's it for now guys, thanks very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.